Hello and welcome back to the Kalopsia podcast. I'm your host Sydney and I'm so thankful that you guys came this week and clicked on today's episode. So today I'm going to come in with a little bit of a shorter episode, a mini episode if we will, and I wanted to make this a little bit of a series because it came to my attention when I was trying to work with the Instagram Kalopsia pod. I wanted to kind of shift the way that I was posting and showing up on there, and I realized that I had kind of distanced myself from my roots. You know, Kalopsia means the delusion of thinking things are more beautiful than they are. It's about gratitude, it's about reframing, and it's about a mindset shift. And I feel like, number one, on the Instagram and on socials, I had kind of distanced myself from that, but also in my topics, I'd kind of distanced myself from that. And I do think it's important to talk about things that I'm learning and things that I'm seeing and thinking about. But I think it's also fun that we take a bit of moments, take a couple episodes, and just think about what we're grateful for. Think about what we've been experiencing lately that has kind of helped us reframe, that has kind of helped us find more gratitude in our day-to-day lives. And so today's episode will be a little kickoff into that new shift. And I want to start the series, and I want to credit Unjaded Jade for this term because this is her philosophy that I had once seen her discuss in a YouTube video. I literally want to say in 2019 or something like that. But she termed it casual magic, and maybe we'll find a different name for it, but it's casual magic episodes. I want to discuss casual magic. What have we seen throughout the week that has been kind of surprisingly perfect? How can this work out for me, or something didn't work out for me? Okay, how did I flip the script? How did I change my mindset on this? And I think it'll just get us to kind of exercise the gratitude muscle, because even I myself slack off on my gratitude journal a lot of the time. If I don't have it on my pillow that I'm about to set my head on, to fall asleep, then I often forget. And so I thought that this could be a nice reminder for us all to kind of walk into our days, walk into life, walk into our weeks, walk into our months with an air of gratitude, because gratitude is the highest frequency that you can have. And once you are in a phase of gratitude, once you are in a frequency and a mindset of gratitude, you will see more things to be grateful for. And so I want to come to you and list some of the casual magic that I have experienced in my week. Now, number one has been my tardiness, right? I have been running and running and running nearly every single day. I have to catch this bus. I literally get on the same bus every day. You would think that I would have gotten my schedule down. I would have been, okay, if I get here at this amount of time, I'm going to get there at the perfect amount of time. And I want to preface that the bus stop for me to get to work is an under 2-minute walk away that if I run it can be shaved down to 30 seconds. Now, this has been something I've experienced throughout my entire life. I once lived right next door to my middle school, and I mean next door, and I was so late to the point where sometimes they would lock the doors and I would have to knock and say, hello, like I'm here, like it's only been 5 minutes, right? And they're like, no, it's actually been 10, right? And the closer I am to where I need to be, the later I leave it. And so that is what has been happening with this bus route. Now, the other day I'm running, I missed the bus, right? But luckily, since I live 30 seconds away from this bus stop, I also live about a 45-second run away from the other stop that I can get. And so I'm running to the secondary location, and I've run and I ran it once before, and it's like, yes, I got it, like, woo, like amazing. And then the other day I'm running, and the man, so typically bus stops, you have to go to the actual stop for them to open up the doors. You can try it when they're in between stops, but a lot of the time they're just going to say no, and it just is going to annoy me. So sometimes I don't even try. I'm like, you know what, let me just run it, like gas pedal to the next stop, and I'm going to make it. Like, I'm always like, I'm going to make it. Like, I'm not missing this bus. I literally see it's right there. And so I'm in my run, and I'm in my sprint, I'm running, and he's at the red light, and I'm waiting by the red light as well. I'm like, okay, like red light, when this light turns green, we are both gonna start rushing down. And then the guy just opens up his door, right? He opens up the door at the bus stop and he goes, you again, huh? Why are you always running? Always leave it to the last one. I'm like, I know. Like, Yeah, I know, I know. And just that little sense of community, that sense of, oh, he remembered me, he understands my character. I will leave it until the last moment. I am willing to run. I'm not going to ask you to wait for me to open up the door at the red light. You just happened to do a little good deed and opened it up for me so I didn't have to run across the street like a maniac. And I thought that was beautiful. So that's a little tidbit of casual magic number one. Now, another little piece of casual magic here is that I actually missed an assignment, right? I have gone back to school. I am back in school, but I missed an assignment. And I went to bed, and just as I am falling asleep, I open my eyes and I think I had an assignment due at midnight, and it's 2:39 a.m. Yes, don't ask me why I was up that late. But, it was one of those participation class assignments. It was worth 1 point. It wasn't worth much, and that is where the casual magic lies. You guys, if that had been a quiz or a larger assignment, that could have significantly affected my grade. This whole graduate school business, this whole master's degree business, the stakes are so high. The stakes have never been higher, right? I missed this assignment. At first I'm like, gosh, how horrible, how stupid am I? Come on, Sydney, how could you forget? How could you make such a mistake? What are you, a rookie? But I realized this was just a little shove from the universe to say, okay, Sydney, I'm going to need you to really pay attention to these deadlines. I'm going to need you to really check that app. I need you to truly check that to-do list. Make sure that you're getting everything done on time. Make sure that after every single class you're checking, do I need to submit something? Do I need to do something? It's placing that little piece of manageable fear, that productive fear in my mind, so that I don't later significantly impact my grades simply by forgetting to show up, So I'm taking that and I'm internalizing that as a positive because it was a shove into my cautiousness that needs to be ramped up when it comes to these assignments and their deadlines. So it was a good thing because it was a reminder. And it was a good thing also because it wasn't that big of an assignment. It could have been one of these quizzes that I have to do a couple times a week. It could have been one of my assignments that I actually had to submit. But no, it was just a little participation, assignment. I'll take it, I'll swallow it, and I will just say, you know what? On to the next. Now I know. Now I will be more careful. Thank you. Now the other day, I was around my room and I was like, oh my God, I feel horrible. I feel horrible. I'm overwhelmed. I'm tired. My hair is a mess. I hadn't washed my hair since my birthday, which was on the 13th of September. My room was a mess. I had just gone to a paper pound in Cambridge. Shout out Garment District in Cambridge. It's like it's Disney Wonderland out there. You basically have a big pile of clothes and you pay per the pound. It's an amazing concept, but I digress. I've got all my paper pound clothes cleaned and washed, but all over strewn around my room. I have different papers and collections of knickknacks spread around my room. My closet is falling apart. My sweaters are overflowing, and I'm like, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm exhausted, and I feel horrible. And so yesterday I'm thinking, you know what? I feel horrible. I literally know why. And there are actions that I can take to do it better. There are actions that I can take to revert this badness, right? Number one, I can sleep more, right? So, which I did last night. I was like, you know what? Let's forget a work-life balance, even though I worked basically all day today. I'm just gonna go to sleep because I think it'll make me feel better tomorrow. I'm one of those people that doesn't find sleep to be self-care. I understand the importance of a good night's rest and how that will impact my next day. That is the sense in which, that is the relationship that I have with sleep. But I'm not the type of person that thinks, oh, my bed, I just want to go to bed. That's not the way my brain works. In my mind, I'm like, I just want to read 5 chapters, and then it's like, okay, I'm reading up until 2 a.m., then I'm not sleeping, then I'm tired the next day. So it's more so a concept of, okay, I want to get more sleep. I think that's one of the reasons why I'm feeling overwhelmed. I want to get more sleep tonight, so I went to sleep earlier at 1:30, but that's okay. I went to sleep earlier. Then I'm thinking, okay, I'm also feeling overwhelmed because my room's a mess. A clean space is a clean mind. So I took the time, cleaned up my room, cleaned up my space, cleaned up my table, cleaned up my floor, redid my bed, fluffed up my pillows, folded the blanket that I place on my duvet, like in a nice way, right? I also reorganized my sweaters. I refolded them, really placed them nicely. Next time I take a look around my room, exhale. Gorgeous, gorgeous. When you are feeling overwhelmed and when you know what those steps are, what a privilege. What casual magic. A lot of problems can't be so easily solved. So when it is something that you can really look around and be like, okay, wait, I know exactly what I need to do. I need to clean my room, I need to wash my hair, and I need to get a good night's sleep tonight. I did all three. All of a sudden, I'm a happy-go-lucky clam. And I feel ready to take on anything the day throws at me. What casual magic. Now, the next thing is kind of bleeding into the school side of it, right? As of late, I'm like, okay, I can't even socialize this much right now. And it's kind of an adjustment every time you go back to school. It's like, oh, I can't actually go and hang out with my friends as much as I used to. I can't actually just have a Pate night a couple times a month. I can't really do all of these things. I can't go and have a few drinks, after work on a Thursday because now I have class on Thursday nights. I can't do some of these things that I got used to doing over the summer or during the year that I wasn't in school. And so now I'm faced with this new reality. I'm like, okay, I am not going to be able to socialize as much as I used to. How can we find the casual magic in that? Number one, I love to spend time alone. I love it. And what better excuse to spend time by yourself and to spend time alone than actually having things to do while you are alone? So I was listening to the Anything Goes podcast with Emma Chamberlain, and she was talking about how it's okay to have a white lie once in a while, which I agree to. I agree with to a certain extent. But she was like, it's okay to have a white lie. Listen, if you don't want to hang out with a certain person, but you're not close enough to say no, you're not close enough to say, oh, really, to be honest, I don't really want to. I just don't really want to hang out. Then you might say, okay, I actually have a meeting. Oh my God, I'm actually not feeling it. I'm sorry. They might internalize that really badly because you're not that close and you're canceling on them. They might not internalize that really well. But listen, it's a foolproof way for me to get out of things that I don't really want to have to do. If I don't want to answer my phone, if I don't want to go and meet someone, perfect. I'm literally drowning in schoolwork. And it's true. Casual magic. The other side is that anytime I socialize with someone, with a friend, with a roommate, it feels like water after 6 hours without a sip of water. That sounds like a weird example, but having that deprivation of social connection and social contact is going to make that connection and that socialization that much more impactful, that much more enjoyable. And so that is the casual magic. I hung out with my roommates the other day and I was like, or last night, and I was like, wow, because I feel like I haven't laughed all day. How beautiful is this? And I wouldn't have appreciated it just as this much if I wasn't already so depraved of my socializing and not being able to hang out with people as often. There's a plus side to it. That's the casual magic. Now this last one is I'm going to have to shout out the most recent love of my life here. And I really, 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 really implore you guys to try. It doesn't have to be this big purchase, right? But I'm going to need a couple of you to invest in a jump rope. I'm going to need it to happen. You guys, jump roping might just be the best exercise ever. Ever. You can make it a HIIT workout. You can make it a leisurely cardio workout. You can tighten your core and try to make it like an ab-centered workout. You can bounce on your feet in a certain way so that it's a calf workout. It's the best workout, and you don't have to do it for long. You can do it for 10 minutes. And I say this because a lot of the time now I'm thinking, I don't have time. I don't have time to work out. I literally don't have time. I can't go all the way to the gym, spend an hour there, come all the way back when it's going to be like a torrential downpour, if it's going to be, freezing 20-degree weather, or if it's 90-degree weather and I just don't want to go outside and it's like, I don't have time, I can't do it. Pick up that jump rope. If you got a high ceiling, pick up that jump rope. If you've got a driveway, if you've got a little park nearby, pick up that jump rope. Easy. I'm done. I'm done. It's all it takes. And you guys, you'll feel so much better because it's like you've moved your body, but you don't actually have to do it for that long because it's kind of an intense work. It's not intense, but I'm sorry. It doesn't feel intense, I think, because there's a rope going around you, but like jumping for an extended period of time is going to like have some demand on your cardiovascular system, hence why it is so beneficial for your cardiovascular health. I'm sorry, this is turning into a love letter to jump roping, but it really is one of my greatest passions of 2025, and I just feel the need to share the wealth and share the plethora of casual magic that it sprinkles all over my days, all over my weeks, consistently. Now, I hope that this inspired you to go about your day, take a look around, think to yourself, what other magic am I missing? Just another example. Let me just sprinkle this in. Yesterday, torrential downpour. Not torrential. Okay, it's been raining, but I typically bike home from work, right? I like to bike. I electric bike. Yesterday, I packed my umbrella. I put it next to the door. I put it next to my bag, but on the way out, I was running, as we discussed earlier. I was running to the bus, right? And so I forgot my umbrella. I get to work. It only starts raining once I get to work. I'm like, okay, Loki, perfect, but how am I going to get home? I have to walk part of the way. I have to bike some of the way. Maybe I can take a bus, but I'm going to have to wait in the rain for about 15 minutes. I'm like, gosh, this is really annoying, isn't it? It's just really annoying. Work ends. I check the weather app. Clouds. It stopped, and it had been predicted to rain through the evening, into the night, into today. It was a continuous stream of rain, and it stopped just for my commute. I commute home, I biked, got home, I was like, perfect. Thank you. Perfect. So what fairy dust, what casual magic, what opportunities for gratitude are you letting slide? Because there is so much to be thankful for. It doesn't have to be this huge, big thing. I received $1,000 in my bank account last night, although we are manifesting that. It doesn't have to be this big thing. There is so many things to be grateful for, and it's just going to keep coming if you take the time to acknowledge what has already come. And with that, I will love you and leave you. Thank you for clicking on this week's episode. I hope that you guys enjoy these short little ones. Maybe we can do these a couple times a month, maybe every other week, maybe when my school schedule is kind of like kicking me in the butt. But I hope that you enjoyed. Thank you for clicking on the video. Don't forget to reach out. It's at kalopsiapod, KALOPSIAPOD on Instagram and TikTok. And it's at Sydneyjotita, SYDNEYDJOTITA on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next Friday. Bye.